We are live.
Yay!
Woo! Hello, Amber. Thank you for joining me.
Hello. Thank you for having me. It's been so long.
I know. I hate
missed
this.
you.
I hate when we go a few weeks without doing
I
this.
know. But
Hello, my friends, is what I have to
Yes.
say. Our friends, right?
Yep. It's our friends. We love you guys.
We
Thank
do.
you for joining us.
I'm here with my amazingly, gorgeously, awesomely smart, amazing woman here,
Aw,
Amber Coleman.
Thank you. But you are really working the red today. I've noticed.
I feel like I'm like naughty Mrs. Claus.
Yes, she is looking pretty.
I'm like a Christmas snack waiting to be delivered to your door. Thank you to everybody who's joining us live. We're so excited to be here with you. We have a lot of information to share with you about the truth about our freaking real estate market, because there's a lot of BS out there right now when it comes to the news and all the updates and all the clickbait BS that's
so
going
much
on.
BS. It's ridiculous BS.
We're so annoyed with the BS. I'm going to fix our camera here. So I'm going to fix it. Sorry. I'm just getting us set up. So we're so excited that you're joining us. It's an evening live stream, which we don't typically do.
I know, but we should do this more often.
But if a lot of you join us, we might do this more often. So it's all up to you guys. We are here for you. So this live stream is always here for you. Those who join us live on whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, I don't even know, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you're watching us from. If you want us to go live more in the evenings, stay tuned in so that we know.
And just let us know.
Based on the metrics, we're going to decide, when we start to go live more often. But I've got the Wizard of Loans with me today.
Oh, and the wizard hat's on. Let's talk about it.
I really need to buy you a wizard hat. I think that's going to be your Christmas gift. It's going to be a custom Amber Coleman Loans or something. We're so excited, but please know that while we give our update tonight, we're going to be talking a lot about loans, the status of loans, what the hell's going on with real estate, the myths, the bullshit, all of that. Amber is going to be giving us some great insight that came out today specifically, which we were surprised to see that announcement. While that's all happening, please drop your comments and questions in the comments box. We want to be able to answer your questions while we're live and make sure that we're here for you when we can be. Bottom line is, if you're thinking about moving to Vegas, this is my one and only plug. I'm just going to say, please, for the love of Christ, go to the description below and click the link and set up a call with us. We don't care if you're moving here now.
Just one plug?
I'm going to give a few more, but this is my official plug. Bing,
okay.
My official. If you're thinking about moving to Vegas, whether you're moving now or 10 years from now, we want to start that conversation today, because this is an ever-changing market and there may be an opportunity for you sooner rather than later, right?
Yes, definitely.
How's your Thanksgiving?
It was so nice.
Yeah.
What about yours? I don't know why. I love Thanksgiving because
it's like the least pressure,
everybody gets together and then there's no pressure. There's no strings attached.
No gifts,
no
nothing.
It's just good food.
Right?
Yeah, no gifts. You don't have to worry about anything. Just bring food.
Good company. So please let us know how you're doing in the comments below. But let's talk about one of the biggest myths that's happening and what's been going around right now in the industry is housing prices are going to plummet and housing values are going down, down, down. What's your take on that?
Here's my take on it.
While you do that, I'm pulling something up. So keep talking.
Okay, so everybody's comparing it to what, because in our lifetime, we did see this happen. We did see a crash. So it's fresh in our memory. So everybody's comparing it, right?
They always do. And we do too. Like
we do. Like that's what our minds do. We're taught. I mean, honestly, we're raised to compare, compete.
Back to the worst or the best experience, right?
That's what happens, right?
Low.
But we have to remember back then it was the crazy loan programs that were out that anybody that was breathing can get a loan. That did make a difference. So that's why at some point when the music stopped, they couldn't make their mortgage payment anymore because they didn't make any money to be able to make that payment in the first place. Right now, a guy named Jerome Powell.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's his name? You know, that
Jerome Powell.
I was like, what's his name again? I'm so ignorant. Let's just be very honest.
The chair of the Federal Reserve. He's controlling everything. He's like our king.
Is it he or is it they? And we're just blaming him.
He's the head. So he's the one, he's the face of it, right? Because he's the head. So they're controlling it because of inflation. So they're moving things up and down. So what I'm seeing right now, like today, he just came out and said he's looking at a lower rate increase in December.
Now, by the way, last month when this rate increase happened, the world shut down, everybody, blah, the sky is falling. And it was speculated that we were going to continue to see the rate hike. Now, 1 month later.
Yeah, because all the inflation numbers are coming out, right? So we can all feel it. Like I know myself, I'm pulling back. Right?
Yeah, of course. Everybody's like,
pull back from what I'm spending because you're not
sure. Do I want to buy that? And do I need that gourmet cheese tonight, or can I just go Velveeta? Right?
Yeah,
I'm a Velveeta fan all day.
I'm figuring out how to cut that grocery bill in half right now. Come on, or to drive less or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So So basically not him, it's the feds that are controlling it, right?
Yes.
So the feds are controlling the market and he's the face of the feds.
Right.
So basically he came out today in a speech and said he thinks that they should cut their rate hike to 50 basis points.
Which was 75 before.
It was going to be 75 and it's been 75 for the last few months. That's why everything's going crazy. So the minute that the inflation numbers come out and they say, okay, inflation's going down, and then the chair of the Fed comes on and says, we're going to cut this now. They're seeing and what they're doing is finally working. And so as we see those numbers for inflation go down, then we're going to see our rates go down with them. So here's what do you want me to go into what I think?
What happened today? First of all, just what happened today after that announcement?
Okay. So our rates are based off of, when you're looking at mortgage rates, if you're going to try to follow the trend and everything else, you want to go to the 10-year treasury bond. Right. So the bond.
I learned that from her. I'm not smart enough to have known that prior to knowing this woman. So thank you.
You're super smart.
Thank you, United States education system.
I know, right? So when the bond goes down, you're going to see rates follow, right? When the bond goes up, you're going to see rates follow. So the minute he did that, the bond went down, which made our rates get better. So almost immediately I got a new rate sheet that said, hey, rates are for the better right now. That hasn't happened very much.
And that happened instantaneously after that meeting.
He spoke, just like when he's speaking on the 13th and 14th. And if they only do raise it 0.5%, then we're going to start seeing the markets calm down.
Right.
So when the markets are calming down, because what we can see during all of this, during the last couple of years, is rates matter and rates control our market.
And the other thing that too, not just rates, that, so rates definitely control our market, which makes me sad because they never used to, right? It used to be the American dream control our market.
Yeah.
And then we got into a place where rates were so freaking low, money was almost free to borrow. So people started getting into house flipping, and, then it became 73 new industries sprouted up from all of what we're dealing with now, right? And many of you may be in those industries, and we support that. We want to make sure that you're making the right decisions.
Absolutely.
But, the biggest myth that I see, is rates are definitely affecting what we're doing, but that everybody's saying house values and home values in Las Vegas are going to plummet. And so I've pulled up 3 reports to show you the median home price. We've definitely seen a softening in the number of buyers on the market. We've definitely seen sellers playing big time baseball all day, every day with, let me pay for this. And they want to get those houses sold.
The baseball game is good right now.
Baseball game is good. And
the players, such amazing deals.
The players in the baseball game are the people who were waiting for the right moment and waiting for, they thought they were going to time the market right and didn't want to listen to the experts, the realtors who were saying, now is the time, right? So if I go back and look at I'm going to go back 3 months just to let you know, we're going to dispel the myth, right? That home values, not all the other stuff, home values, meaning what they are being valued at by appraisals, right, is going to plummet.
And these are the 3 worst months for rates.
So rates are the most high.
Because I believe we've hit our high and now we're trickling this way.
Yeah,
right?
Hopefully. So we're here, there, and we're at a good place from we got to a really high spot from a median price point for Las Vegas. But for single family home units in October, our median price was $440. If I go to September, our median price was $450. So a small deduction, but not plummet, right? Yeah. If I go to August, which is 1 month prior, our median home price was also $450. So our median home price for single family homes has only dropped $10,000 in 3 of the worst possible months we could have imagined from a real estate perspective in terms of rates, slowing of the market, and not as many buyers on the market, and everyone thinking we're crashing.
So when rates were at the highest level, the market dipped $10,000.
$10K, right? That's not a plummet in my opinion. In 2007, we were seeing homes go from 500,000 to 100,000, right? We were seeing nosedives into the ocean, right? That's not that. I'm not here predicting what's going to happen next month or the month after. All we can go off of is previous data, right? Yeah. We're always looking backwards and moving forward at the same time. So our goal here is to really just help you understand that, the stuff that you see in the news, the stuff that you hear every day, all the bullshit, I'm going to say it. Sorry, I started to censor myself, but I don't do that on my channel. All the stuff that you're seeing online is clickbait. It's for you to click so they make money. The reality of the situation is listening to people like us who are in this business every single freaking day, watching Jerome Powell, literally hitching our wagon to Jerome Powell going, please, what's today's decision?
Because what he says, he's running the market right now.
It matters.
Nobody that speaks is running. It's all him that's running, not him. there's a whole committee behind
Of
him.
course, but he's the head, right? He's the
Right.
chair.
So what he says does matter,
Yep.
and it's making everything flow. And if you're really wanting to watch the market, don't listen to the chatter. Watch the inflation numbers, because as inflation goes down, everything's going to be corrected.
Right.
As inflation goes up, everything's going to be screwed. We've already seen that. We
So
saw it this year.
On a median home price for single family homes in the last 3 of the worst rate months we've known this whole year, or honestly in a long time, more than just this whole year, $10,000 deduction reduce is all we've seen. A lot of people reach out to us and say, oh, I'm watching Zillow, I'm watching Redfin, I'm seeing all these price reductions across the market. Of course you are, because sellers still are walking into this market with unfortunately, uneducated realtors, and also just stubborn people who are like, my buddy Sam, who has the house 3 houses down, definitely got this much money, and I need to at least get that. And there's realtors going, sir, I love you, but you should have sold 3 months ago, should have sold 6 months ago. It's not going to happen. But there's stubborn sellers, and we as realtors cannot tell people what to do. We just have to unfortunately direct and guide and hope that they're going to listen.
And honestly, some of that was false equity too, though,
100%.
Right? I mean, like when you gain 35% within 6 months, that's false equity.
Yeah, we haven't ever talked about false equity. That's a really good point. So anyway, with all that being said, if you're watching Zillow, if you're watching Redfin and you're thinking, oh, I'm just going to wait till it gets lower, we are here to tell you right now, and I know that we've said this for the last couple months, but we're watching as things are starting to shift finally, is the juiciest, crunchiest, most amazing time to possibly put your money into real estate in Las Vegas. And here's why. If you look at the system and you call Amber and say, what can I qualify for? And Amber says, oh, you can qualify for $400,000. That doesn't mean you're only going to be able to spend that. That just means that's our starting point. Then we go and look at homes and say, you know, what's the seller willing to give? Oh, it's a $550,000 house. They're willing to give this much in closing costs, and they're willing to buy your rate down a couple of percentage points. You may be able to qualify for something bigger based on the kind of math and the kind of really creative financing that we're looking at in terms of, and not even the financing, creative negotiation that we're looking at to get you the house that you want.
Yeah. And these times only come about
it's a short amount of time.
Occasionally. So like, how I'm looking at it is, you know, during the crazy times, right? At the beginning of the year, there was a lot of people that couldn't get houses because
100%.
they were because you had to pay 10, 15, 20, 30, 50,000 over appraised value.
We had probably 100 clients 9 months ago, probably 9 months ago, maybe a year ago, literally 100 that we said, it's time to wait. You have to wait until things calm down, because they didn't have money in their mattress to pull from. They were going with what they were making, right? And the outbidding and the upselling and the false equity that was being built was just not a game we wanted them to play in. We're always looking out for our clients.
Not everybody has that kind of money.
I don't have that money, you know, that's
so
not okay.
all of those people that had to pull back because you didn't have the money, right? Or you don't have down payment plus closing costs. It's hard to save right now.
Absolutely.
Like it's pretty expensive out there right now with the inflation.
Milk is how much right now? How much are eggs? Have you seen how much eggs are these days? Holy criminy.
Now, though, if you're somebody that needs a grant, if you're somebody that doesn't have like, you know, an extra 30,000 in your account to buy back then, now is that time, because you can get the seller to pay the rate buy down for you too.
And that's been the craziest thing I've seen.
So the incentives that are coming from this, like I'm seeing people get discounts and incentives. Like it's crazy. If you can catch a desperate seller right now.
And all of them are desperate sellers, by the way. I mean, I would say 90% of the people that are selling right now are either the 10% that are not in this bucket are the ones that are testing the market to see what happens, right?
Yeah.
But the 90% are desperately trying to offload that house.
Otherwise, why would they list it right now?
Right, exactly. We've even had clients that we definitely were like, hey, actually every client that wants to list with me, I'm like, that's really not a good time to list. You're not going to get as much as you thought. Your neighbor Sam sold for this. You're not going to get anywhere near that. And the people who have chosen to move forward are the ones who must sell. Or the ones who want to test the market. And I've even had to ask clients that I don't think we're on the same page. Like, I really don't want to waste your money or my time or your time. Like, we need to be on the same page for this to work, you know?
So as a buyer, that's good to know that.
It is a buyer's
market. Anybody's listed out there, they can get a really good deal.
What's crazy to say that, though, is it is a buyer's market with limited inventory. And I think that's important to state out loud, because if you're sitting back listening to this video, I mean, it's beginning of December tomorrow. Is tomorrow December? Is that tomorrow?
December 1st, yeah.
My birthday's on Sunday, everybody. Hey,
it's exciting time.
Don't ask me how old I am. Anyway,
lazy season.
I'm aging in reverse. But with that being said, Tomorrow starts December. Nobody's thinking about buying a house right now. Like, who the hell wants to go look at houses when people have their Christmas trees up and they're shopping for the holiday? And who's not broke at the end of the year? I'm always broke at the end of the year for whatever reason. Christmas is always like the most stretched time of the year for me.
I think the Christmas music just makes you want to spend.
There's something
within
within them. Yeah,
yeah.
For sure,
I think it's the Christmas
subliminal
music.
messages for sure. And All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey, like for sure. But with all that being said, we are, at the end of the year, nobody's thinking about selling or buying, or, nobody's thinking about anything but Christmas and the holidays. And even if you don't celebrate it, you're still thinking about rest, right? But oh my God, we've been saying it for 4 months now, maybe 3 months, right? August, September, October, November, 4 months now. This is the juice. It's a granola bar.
But right now,
extravaganza. And look, when you eat a granola bar, you do bite, and then it's almost gone. You have that little piece left. We're at that little piece, in my opinion. I think it's your opinion too. Well, we're at the end of the granola bar that has free rate buy downs. Let me buy your closing costs. Discounted prices. Like the new home builders are like, take the house, take it. They're making it rain like a strip club on Saturday night at Las Vegas, right? Like it's literally making it rain. So, but I think we're at the end of that granola bar. What do you say?
I think so. Every year that goes by, I watch people and I watch investors come out in December and January. Why? Because everybody else is busy
Less
shopping.
buyers on the market, right?
Anybody that's selling their house right now, just like you said, with people that are listing, they're desperate. So they're going to get the best deal out there. And I'm seeing that happen again. The people that are out shopping in December and January are super serious.
So this is already
that deal.
This is already the time where we know we're going to be slow and there's only super serious buyers. But then you layer on top of that
all that's happened this year,
all the stuff that's happened. So the only people out there buying right now are the really super serious buyers. And we are begging you, if you're even thinking about it, now through probably February is probably the juiciest. That's the end of that amazing granola bar that was handmade by Aunt Gretel down the street.
I love your analogy.
Had all the, I don't know, whatever, right? Like it's
had like now a homemade granola going on.
Oh my God, right? Have you ever had homemade granola?
I don't know. That shit sounds really yummy. We should try it.
So, this is not a sales pitch. This is just trying to really express the truth about the real estate market to you, because there is so much bullshit clickbait and so much BS headlines that are going out there that take one comment and don't take the whole concept to what really needs to be brought forth. We believe in bringing hope to you, right?
Hope and the truth.
And the truth, 100%.
You can see just by what Jerome Powell did today, you can see that now things are going to start shifting as they move forward, right?
Yep.
Just by doing one swoop move. So the people that have been waiting for a crash, we've had a decrease in prices. We all expected that, right?
Yep.
But the crash where it goes from 500 to what it did before, 200.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of disappointment. What do you think?
Well, and I know that a lot of the questions, I agree, but I know a lot of the questions come into play where people go, now that the interest rates are so high, I can't afford a house, right? But what we're trying to tell you is you can.
The seller can buy you down.
The seller will help you buy that interest rate down to where you would have originally been able to qualify to begin with. And that's, I think, the biggest misnomer and the hardest thing, even for me to understand. And I'll be very honest about that. Like, I may have been doing real estate, but I don't do loans, right? And I've only owned so many homes in my own life. And even so, the math is hard to comprehend when you have the news and your friends and your Aunt Gertle, who used to freaking do real estate 93 years ago.
Lady?
Yeah, the lady that makes the granola now that doesn't have anything to say about real estate. When you have so much coming at you, it's really hard to comprehend. We are in this business every day. And I can say in the last month, just the last 30 days, how many miracle clients have we put through
I counted them 11.
11. and that's out of miracles that are out of the whatever that we've done, right?
Because the other thing that you can get to happen right now is that there's less out there. So you can get underwriters to really look outside the box. You can get people to understand things. They're not wanting to just cherry pick. They're wanting to make things work. You can get exceptions. You can get different things. So if you have things that have held you back before, try right now.
If you've worked for yourself up to this point and have never didn't show a lot of income on your 1099 or whatever, because you do draws or you let most of your expenses run through your business, good news for you. There's loans for you now. There's bank statement loans. There's loans for everyone. There's grants for a lot of people, right? There's
actually a new grant that just came out too.
Oh, what's that?
It gives additional money. Like it gives, like there's a first time home buyer grant. This one goes over $500,000 in a purchase price. and you can get like, I think it was 12,500. So there's
Wow.
a new grant
Whoa.
that's out. We'll have to do
that's
another
a lot
one.
of money.
I should have given you that before we went live,
You
right?
just took my breath away.
So you would have known that it was out there, but it just came out like a week or two ago.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
So I know we've harped on the same message for the last 15 minutes or so, but I just want you guys to know that like we genuinely just want to bring you hope and truth.
Mhm.
We want you to make sure you're paying attention to the right people when you're thinking about these things in your life. And if you have any desire at all to possibly put money into the real estate market here in Las Vegas, whether it be investment or moving here someday, tomorrow, 10 years from now, whatever, we need to talk to you today because this is a really crazy, weird,
it's a different market than we've ever
weird.
seen. We've never had this kind of market
But
before.
it's exciting because we're able to finally, I mean, a year ago, I was literally telling people, I'm so sorry. I don't want to help you buy a house right now because I don't want to see you get taken advantage of. I want to see you get a better home for your money. Let's just wait a minute and breathe.
Yeah,
right?
if you had limited money a year and a half ago,
you don't have to worry about that now.
You couldn't buy a house. Right now, you can get a house. I mean, the thing that you have to look at is that even if there's costs are higher, remember, because of what the feds are doing, once they start pulling back, then they start going the opposite direction. And once the rates start going back down, then you refinance, but at least you got the low price and then the refinance on top 100%. Of that. So just trying to help you to see, buy when you can get the low price and then refinance because there's 13 million people on the sidelines right now.
Yeah. So let's say that again. There's 13 million people sitting on the sidelines doing
watching,
waiting,
watching,
timing the market right.
And everybody, because everybody's watching the same thing, right? They're going to all come out at the same time. So when the news media starts to say, "Ooh, rates are lower right now,"
and everyone comes back to the market.
Then everybody's going to come back at the same time, and then we're going to be running into the same problem that we did before.
And then all those amazing deals dry up.
Right? So that's why we're saying the granola time right now is why you're seeing rates go like that. We've only seen this so they're starting to move down, right? And then home prices are at a really good level right now, and you can actually get the deals and get extra like incentives from the sellers and stuff like that. The appraised values have already moved down on those houses, right?
Yeah.
So then you can ask for additional money beyond that appraised value to get to the sellers. So once
the last bite of that granola.
And that's probably
March, right? But now
that's usually when
now in February, end of February, right? Early March. That's when things are we believe, even out a little bit, and we're gonna see a little more competition, not as much of a buyer's market. It might be okay for a month or two, but we may find ourselves in a situation where we don't have enough homes, a lot of buyers, because the rates are dictating what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
And we want you to just hear this loud and clear. Rates should not dictate your timing because we can negotiate the rate into your purchase process. We can make that seller pay for your lower rate. So it may look like you're only going to get a 6 rate, and we may be able to negotiate a 4 rate, which is what you would have gotten a year ago, right? But yet you're able to
there's what's called a temporary buy down. So you get the seller to pay additional money to buy your rate down for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So it gets you through that scary time. And then if you're able to refinance anytime within that, what the seller did pay for the buy down and what's left, some of it's actually refundable back to the buyer. So it's a win-win, but you're utilizing the seller to be able to get your payment where you want it to be while we know that the market's going to be volatile.
Yeah.
And then, then you can refinance it later.
So in my opinion, I've always felt this way. People who shop for homes, we always say like, what is it? Like the land, don't be a sheeple, right? When all the sheep are hibernating and they're in there, they're over on the field, when there's those random black sheep that are out there shopping for homes when nobody else is looking, they're the smartest buyers ever. Every year during December, I have gotten better deals for my clients during December, January, February than any other time throughout the year because that's when nobody else is shopping.
And to be honest with you, those are the ones that end up making so much money in real estate because they're just they're going against the crowd on everything.
So that's typical anyway in our industry. December, January, February is already a slow time. Then layer on what's happening with the industry and inflation and all the stuff we're dealing with. So if you're shopping for a home now through March, now through spring, you are a smart buyer. We want to help you. We desperately want to make sure
smart cookie
you smart cookie you. Hey, we want to make sure you're spending that money the right way and that we're helping you structure it and be smart about it. We've put a few videos out about Airbnb, some of the new rules that are out, some ways to work around those rules. We're trying to really help not only investors, but also first-time home buyers and just people who are genuinely interested in investing in Las Vegas because this is the greatest city on the planet. Okay.
It totally is.
So let's stop freaking talking. Let's look at some of these comments.
Everybody
Vegas
knows
guy.
it's the best city on the planet.
It's my neon hometown.
Oh,
baby.
Las Vegas guy, it's your brother.
It's my brother, Las Vegas guy. Hi, Anthony. My name is Anthony. I have a question for Laci about the housing market. If I moved from Illinois to Las Vegas, how much does it cost? I don't really. That's a hard question to answer, Anthony, because it depends on how much stuff you have. It depends on the timing.
How much does it cost to move?
Yeah. Oh, I've always heard that the number between 3,000 and 10,000 is what I've heard.
Yeah, because there's different rates for different moving companies and stuff like that.
Or depends on
if you're going to do the work
do it yourself. Yeah. So I don't really know. If you want really a more detailed answer, Anthony, we've got our information in the description below. So click that link, set up a call. We'll talk. We'll add, we'll talk about your specific situation and see if we can get you some information. Oscar Love says, hello from the snowy Northwest.
Oscar.
Hello,
snowy
sir.
out there, huh?
Tommy and Jerry say, ho, 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 Merry Christmas. Edward asks if I'm related to Las Vegas guy. I am not, but I do want to meet you, Las Vegas guy. Thank you for joining us. Jonathan says, hi there from Flushing. Hey, Jonathan, you always say hi to us. You're so sweet.
Thanks,
Sammy's
Jonathan.
here. She's always tuning in. Hey, Sammy.
Oh, Sammy.
Slim, hi, Valentine. Good to see you. Trevor says, I need to win Mega Millions lottery so I can buy a house in Las Vegas with a pool in the backyard.
And remember who your friends are when you win that Mega Millions lottery.
And remember who your realtor and loan officer are. We don't care if we're your friends. We'll be your friends later, but definitely. It's not, you don't need to win Mega Millions to be able to buy a house with a pool these days. Honestly, we're seeing like a lot of sellers be a lot more giving is I'm trying to find the right word. Giving is a good word. Ray W says, the paper I got this morning says prices are dropping. It's been a while since I watched your live. Well, hey, Ray, thanks for tuning back in.
Yeah.
I saw that same headline and it's true, but I did just read. Let me just reiterate again.
But you just saw it. Like last month, they did drop $10,000 the median home price.
October currently, well, again, all we can go off is October. We haven't gotten the full November stats yet. As of October, 440,000 for single family homes. This is not condos. 440,000 is our median price. You go back one more month, 450,000 in September. One more month is 450,000 in August. So we've only dropped from a value perspective, 10K. But a lot of times when you see those headlines, they're talking national numbers, right? Mm-hmm. So we are definitely contributing to that national number, but we are not a major indicator, right? I think there's places like Idaho and other places that really skyrocketed, California, and that are plummeting down. And thank God we're not plummeting down.
No,
thankfully.
Vegas has kept it pretty good.
Yeah. So Tommy and Jerry said, when do I dump my estates? I don't know if you should dump anything. I'm never a fan of letting go of real estate. Are you?
I think it's a long-term.
It's a long play, like all day.
Throughout all of this, I didn't try to sell anything because if you're going to use it,
you have some inventory,
you're going to use it. Yeah. If you're going to use it long-term,
Okay,
I mean, I'm looking for retirement in real estate. Like I'm looking to make money off that when I'm too old to work. Right.
I'm a believer. And I mean, this shoots me in the foot every time because I've got clients that want me to make money off of selling their homes. And I more than I should say, maybe you should just rent it. Maybe you should just rent it out because I really don't want to ever see anybody let go of real estate.
That speaks a lot for you though, because most real estate agents would be looking at their own commissions when a client says that. You're looking after their best interests. So
this
that
is
does say a lot about
cycle
Ms.
that I go
Laci.
through. No, thank you for saying that. But for me, the entire point and reason that we're doing this job, that we do what we do together, is to help people understand that this is a long-term investment. If you need to move, okay, we'll talk about it. Maybe you could cash out refi. Maybe you could find money elsewhere. We really, especially with rent being as high as it is right now. Oh my God, rent is crazy high right now.
It's hard too. Woo. I've had clients call me and like, can you just, I'm like, why are you going to rent then if it's that high?
Why would you pay this much
in?
to rent when you can pay $500 less to buy? Like that makes no sense to me.
And they're strict though. That's the problem, is they're being strict with
a lot of them aren't even letting people come through with any pets whatsoever.
Oh, and that's the sad part. Poor pet.
So I'm screwed if I'm trying to rent right now because I've got a cat and a dog. One of them keeps bothering me right now. So with that being said, it's hard to really tell you when to dump. I have my back door open, so it's like you can hear like people driving by. It's hard to tell you when to dump your estates because I'm going to tell you all day long, hang on to that thing and let's figure out how to make money from it. Let's figure out how to rent it out. Airbnb, long-term Airbnb, short-term, whatever, whatever. Let's rent it out. Like I would love to make money on you, but I don't really care enough to make that much money. I'd rather see you in 10 years while we're high-fiving over the millions of dollars that we made on whatever, right? So that's that. You follow everyone when you get 3 notifications of the same live. That means she's following me, my Cerrone Group channel, and you. So she got 3 notifications of you going like, I love you, Sammy. If we don't have cocktails before the end of this year, we have a problem.
Yeah, thank you.
I know you have my cell phone number. I need a text message. Ray W says, I'm in Pahrump with the secret sorta. I don't know what that means. Edward says, what's the rent in Flushing? Okay, I got to move down here. I'm reading the wrong comments. Oh my God. Bargain Holic says, I can't afford $888 a month, doesn't work. So for me, I want to say this, like, that's the one thing I want to make sure that you guys are looking at when it comes to affordability is a lot of people look at what the rent is and then assume immediately, well, I can't afford to buy, so I'm screwed. I'm not going to move to Vegas. It's over. The rent does not currently dictate what it looks like to buy. I'm not saying you will pay. I don't know what your situation is, right? Every situation is different based on your debt to income ratio, based on your income levels, based on your credit, all of that, right?
It all matters.
So if you have $888 a month to work with, it may work to buy, but you won't really know until you run those numbers through Amber, because you may actually have more to spend than you realize.
Well, and keep in mind too, though, a lot of times you're comparing it to rent. When you buy a house, you also have a tax write-off.
That's a good point.
And
That's a really
so
good point.
you're going to gain more at the end of the year just by writing off all that interest. So when you're buying a house, your payment's going to more than likely be higher.
Yeah.
Because you're paying towards something. You're paying something off every month.
But
you're not paying 100%
I've seen people get
interest.
it. I've seen, not everyone, so please don't take this as everyone, but I've seen people go to look at rent and go to look to buy, and it's actually been a reduction.
Depending on what
depending
they're
on the rate or payment or whatever, right?
Yeah, depending on what you're paying in rate. But also do remember there's extra incentives that you get on your taxes that is going to raise your tax benefit or like help your tax benefits at the end of the year.
Absolutely. So we just, I love that we speak in generality here because we want to speak to as many people as possible. But the bottom line on every one of these live streams and all of our videos is that we want you to reach out to us directly. There is zero judgment. What are we?
We're the judge-free zone.
Judge-free zone, right? Let's say it again.
Judge-free.
Judge-free zone, right? So we don't judge. We don't care. I don't even know most of the financial stuff. I'm not allowed to. So she knows all of it.
Everything's secure.
It's very secure.
It's kept secret.
There's no shame. We've all had bankruptcies. We've all had the crap.
We've aired our dirty laundry.
Go back and look at some of our live streams. We talked about some really gritty stuff.
We have, because and that's the reason why we don't judge, because we've been through it too. So if you have something that's holding you back and you don't want the no, or you're afraid of judgment, don't worry. We've had our own problems.
We just want to make sure that you have the right information. You may not be able to buy it. It may just be the truth. The truth of the matter may be you can't afford us. We're out of your we're out of your range. But please don't make that decision until you speak to one of us and we can actually give you the truth, because that's what really matters.
Yes.
Okay, Steve says, how do you strategize convincing buyers to buy with interest rates that virtually double the payment? Here's my strategy, Steve. Your interest rate is not going to be what you see on the internet and what you're seeing out there.
That's why we're talking about buy downs.
That's why we're talking about buy downs. That's why we're saying that our strategy is to help you understand, as a buyer, we're in your court and your corner. We're not going to let you go into a contract situation that forces you to pay double the payment. We're going to go in and say, hey, seller, we know you're desperate because you've been on the market this long. We know you really want to get out of this house. So why don't you help our buyer a little bit? They need to buy that down a couple of points so that your payment is actually affordable. So that's truly what it is.
And if you look at it, so when the rates were at the beginning of the year, the rates were like in the low threes, right? And let's look at the same type of house. A house at that rate, that would have been 500,000, right? You would have had to pay maybe 530 to get it.
Yep.
That same house right now would be maybe 450. And I'm talking January, right?
Absolutely.
So you don't have to pay 30,000 over appraised value,
right?
And it's
because they're listing it lower, knowing.
So you would have had to finance 530 before. Now you'd finance 450, and then you also ask the seller to
bring
give
it
you
down even more.
A buy down rate. So in actuality, if you can get that kind of deal, you're actually paying less because you were going to be putting out so much money to be able to get that house back in January. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And that's the thing that we're trying to help people understand is just looking at bare numbers online and listening to the news and talking to your aunt at Thanksgiving who thinks she knows everything, who did real estate 42 years ago, isn't going to cut it. You have to talk to people that are in this every day. We are not a pressure situation here. We don't care. If you ever buy, we don't care. We want you to, we care enough to want you to buy, but we don't care if you pull the trigger or not. The bottom line is we won't know until we look at your specific situation. But what we're seeing as a trend across most of our clients is that sellers are buying down rates for people. Sellers are coming out of pocket to pay $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in closing costs that would have come out of your pocket that are now coming out of theirs. So we've had, didn't you say we had a couple clients that bought homes with zero money out of pocket? Yeah. Last month.
So there's a grant there's a new grant program out right now. Okay. So that would help. But there was a client that was able to get in just last month. She had no money. She had the credit scores. She had the income to fit. She was buying in the right price range for the grant. The seller paid all the closing costs. The grant paid all the down payment. She didn't pay one penny to get in that house, and got
zero
money
down,
and got all of her earnest money back, like refunded back to her. So didn't have to put anything out of pocket.
Wow.
I mean, what do you got to pay when you get into a rental house?
Isn't it 3 months rent or 2 months rent plus security
deposit?
And
I think they keep raising it too, right?
Yeah.
So to be able to get into something like that, you have to qualify for the grants and you have to go through that, but there's a way to do it.
Yeah.
And we've had success stories that they have done it.
No, we're not promising you can get into a home with zero money down, but we've seen it happen. So we know it is possible. But the point of the matter is that there is so much juicy negotiation out there for us to take advantage of. And because people are so trained to believe that, well, the rates are high, so I'll just wait till they go down. Well, guess what everybody else is doing? 13 million people, by the way. They're waiting for the rates to go down. We're going to be dealing
with the same thing once we get into the market where that 13 million people come off. There's not enough houses for that. So there still is a lack of inventory for the amount of people that need houses. Even though
we have more inventory, we're literally making up for several months of the most ridiculous.
And the builders are pulling less permits right now too.
Yep. So I feel like we're just saying the same thing over and over again. Sorry, but we just want to reiterate, like, that's how we can, you're asking, how can we do that? That's how we can do that. We definitely know, because we're in it every day. We're negotiating every day. We're talking to sellers, we're talking to builders, and we know what they're willing to do. And it's literally a lot.
You have a client right now that went into contract just a couple of weeks ago, and she was looking in January and was like, I got to pull back.
And we called her and said, now's your time.
And so she came in right now. I talked to her and I'm like, holy crap, the deal you got, because she got off the price, plus she got a buy down on the interest rate. And she's like, I know I couldn't have done this back then.
Yep. So because back then there was not even repairs. Like
if you didn't have a lot of money in your bank account, you wouldn't have gotten
6 months ago. Sellers were not even making repairs on the home. If there was a hole in the wall, it was disgusting. And I was like, please don't buy a house now. But then it's like, what do? If you need to buy and move, you got to help them, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's keep moving down. Thank you again for all the comments. Please drop them down here. We're going to keep going for about 15 more minutes or so, guys. So keep it going. Hey, Olivia, good to see you, babe. Trevor asks, my wife and I plan to have no kids in the future. So what kind of house should we buy?
Well, I mean, there's always high-rise condos.
There's always a high-rise condo.
There's no maintenance to a high-rise condo. And you can live the life. You're right downtown or right on the strip, wherever you want to be. There's even high-rise condos in Summerlin that you can live in. So
Trevor, the real question is, what kind of a lifestyle do you and your life, you and your wife want to live now?
It's all up to you, man.
Are you outdoors people? Are you bougie? We go foodies that go where, like, what's your vibe? Because if you're foodies and you're more of like the lifestyle of Vegas and partying and that scene, high rises all day long. And honestly, maybe even a condo hotel. So when you're out, you can rent your place out when you go travel elsewhere, because you're clearly living a pretty good life if you have no kids. Like, how long could you imagine? But if you're more outdoorsy and you're more like, we kind of just want a quiet experience, we'll pop down to the strip or down to like a cool experience when we want to, then, Summerlin, Henderson, Southwest is a gorgeous area. Got, what's the new place outside of town? Indian Springs. Indian Springs is a new spot that's a little bit outside of town. So it really just depends on your lifestyle. But congratulations on having no kids. Not that I don't love kids. I do love my children, but that's a definitely different experience, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine life with no kids.
Like, I know, right? I know I can't.
I'm going to live vicariously through you, Trevor.
I'm trying to picture it,
love you.
It's all your choice, whatever you like to do. Lacey's here to help you find a house.
Jesus Christ. All right, let's see. Sammy Bowen says 2022's market is enough to give you whiplash. Listen, my neck has been sore for 4 months. 5 months. Yeah. Edward says, say hi to Jake. I will say hi to my friend Jake. I will definitely do that. And Jacob. Jacob's Life in Vegas spent Thanksgiving with me. And he's like Mr. Health conscious.
What did he eat?
I think he spent, in the last 8 years that we've known each other, I think he spent 4 or 5 Thanksgivings with me. So normally he's Mr. Health conscious.
Yeah.
But he actually ate my food this year. It was really cool. Normally he literally comes with like a Tupperware with his own food.
Even on Thanksgiving?
Yes, you don't even get me started because it's like my biggest.
Oh, jeez.
But this year he actually like ate my food, and I was like,
you were like, look at you.
are we making progress in our friendship here? So
he finally trusts you.
I don't know, something. I don't know. Leslie Renee gave us a $10 super sticker. Thank you, Leslie,
Thanks,
so much.
Leslie.
That's awesome. Let's see. A lot of people are saying they need to get out and do their thing. Awesome Sauce Radio says, I need to get off my butt and finally talk to Amber.
Yes, you do. Come on. No judgment here. Judge-free zone, right?
By the way, Edward says you ladies are looking fine tonight.
Oh, Edward.
We're looking good. Thank you, Edward.
Thank
we love you. Panther says the issue is affordability due to interest rates. Most people can't afford a $3,000 mortgage payment. But here's the deal, Panther Punch. We've been keeping it real. We're going to keep it real again. That's definitely not going to be your experience. If we can talk to you, look at your situation, and then go in knowing what we need to ask for to get you what you need to be able to afford it. Listen, it's worth the conversation, right? At the end of the day, like what's stopping you from at least the one conversation to understand what you baseline qualify for, and then understanding could we possibly what do you qualify for and what do you want? Right?
Yeah.
And how big of a stretch is that? Like, I want a $40 million home. That would be amazing. So if I went to qualify with you, you'd be like, that's going to be a bit of a stretch.
Yeah,
we're probably
you're not
going to
get the payment you want.
Seller's not going to, So being realistic, let's keep it real. Once we know what you can qualify for and then what you want, we need to find out what we need to ask for in the middle. And it is possible.
And keep your payment where you're comfortable with it. So,
yeah. Not everybody has I don't have a $3,000 mortgage payment.
But I say, let's keep your mind open, right? Because there's possibilities I'm seeing happen every day. And people that didn't think that they couldn't buy before and are now getting into it, but are getting buy downs and stuff like that. So keep your mind open. Let's talk and let's figure out how to make your numbers work for you.
So Leolo is asking us, do the current market conditions still favor having a minimum of an 8 to 10% down payment available, assuming that the buyer is willing to pay the PMI? Actually, PMI usually comes only with like a 3.5 to 5% down payment, right?
Well, no, there's PMI anything under 20% down payment, but the PMI on conventional loans gets reduced.
Oh, okay.
So like conventional loans, you can go to 3% down.
Right.
And then the PMI depends more on your debt ratio and your credit scores.
This guy is desperate to get in this video. Sorry, he's like dying. Sorry. This is Baxter, everybody. Say hi. Okay.
And then FHA loans are 3.5%. With the PMI on it. So
okay.
So you can get in for less. The more you put down, the better your payment's going to be. So again, it's a matter of talking and kind of going over, because sometimes people are like, oh, I'm going to put down more so my payment is less. But then they see the difference and they're like, I might be better off just keeping it in my bank account and investing it myself.
Is he making you freaked out? I'm going to turn him away. He's like,
no, he's not.
Looking
he's
at
such a cutie.
But that also too, like people think they are the ones that have to put more down, but the reality is you can come in with that kind of a down payment, and then we can figure out a way to see if the seller's willing to kind of contribute. What do you think, Baxter?
Or we can figure out if it's better for you to put that down or put down less. If you have to put repairs into the house or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, this guy. He's always interrupting. When I film, you should see the outtakes of my videos for YouTube. It is, Baxter, no! Like my editor just recently sent me a clip of a bunch of bloopers. And I was like, I'm going to look like an abusive dog mom. I'm not putting that out there. Let's see here. Amber, I'm going to be, Sweezy's show says, Amber, I'm going to be calling you tomorrow. Yay. We got your number from Michelle Whipperman. Yay!
I'm excited to talk to you.
Michelle's the best. She's on our team.
Michelle is so amazing.
Okay, let's see. Awesome Sauce. Could you help someone who's disabled and on a fixed income by their first house?
Yeah, people. You know what? People get in all the time.
We just had someone recently was on fixed income.
Yeah,
right?
like people get into houses. Like sometimes people think that holds them up, and it doesn't really. You qualify with what you make, and if your income is fixed, like if it's on Social Security or you have a pension or something like that that's non-tax, we can actually gross your income up because you're not paying taxes on it.
Absolutely.
So your debt ratio is going to be changed. So
that's a lot of like people just get in there. I think that our system is set up to put up roadblocks for ourselves.
And I think it's different places that you live too, because some places are so high priced. Like if you come from like Northern California,
or even like the East Coast, really.
or the East Coast, those prices are so high that those rules there are going to be more down payment. And no, you can't do it if you're on a fixed income. But because we have such diverse housing here, and in the prices and stuff like that, it definitely allows more people, and there's different rules.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian Gilman. Hey, Brian, good to see you. He's actually a realtor as well. I did a show with him. God, it's been probably 3 years since I did that. Not sure if you mentioned this, but I hear this daily: sellers want last year's pricing and buyers want next year's pricing. Brian, first of all, thank you for that comment.
Yeah.
Awesome for you to be contributing.
That's a good comment. Thank
Brian's
you.
an amazing agent in Las Vegas as well. So if you don't end up working with us, please consider reaching out to Brian. He's from Northern California and he was doing like an online web series that was about like, why are people moving to where they're moving?
Oh, really?
And interviewed me and Jacob from Jacob's Life in Vegas about why people are moving here. So Brian, good to see you, my friend. I hope you're still watching.
Thanks for tuning in.
That's such a great way I hear that a lot too. And I hadn't really summed it up in that way, but sellers want last year's pricing, which is exorbitant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And buyers want next year's pricing. So there's this big gap. But unfortunately for sellers, they're the ones that have to move, right? They're the ones that have to come down, at least for the next few months. Wouldn't you agree?
That is a good saying. And it kind of just shows you always want what you can't get to.
Absolutely. Yeah. So listen, when we tell you this is a good crunchy time to buy, this is a good crunchy time.
Oh,
and when it's not, we'll tell you.
She said, are you two related? Yes, my sister.
This is sister from another mister and another mama and another lifetime and everything. But yeah. House with a pool, I can't swim. Someone says, okay, this is awesome. Owning your own pool is a good way to swim. I love when I see you guys like having your own like side combos.
Awesome.
The problem is though, is I literally read your thing thinking it's a question for us. And then I'm like, oh no, that was not for us. So somebody says, I can't understand their name. Something 47 Fargo says, my wife and I enjoy your YouTube and Instagram videos. Thanks, gorgeous, for all the information.
Aww.
Thank you so much for everything, for just following us and watching us. Okay. Let's move down here. What's a good cap rate for a fourplex in Vegas? Awesome Beer says.
Cap on the price of the house?
I think it's cap on I think it's like investment cap rate. I'm not sure. Oh, Awesome Beer, will you give us a little more information? Because she thinks of it one way and I think of it
I'm
as
thinking
another.
Rates, she's thinking prices. So.
I'm thinking like what
really
you're gonna make. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're thinking income.
I'm thinking income. I'm pretty sure that's an income cap.
He's talking about rents that you can make off of each. I mean, it kind of depends on the price, side of town.
It depends on where you are. And a lot of our fourplexes, to be very honest, are in kind of the east side of town and the North Las Vegas area. I need
to build more.
I don't think they're gonna. I wish they would. I would buy a fourplex today.
That would be amazing. Oh
my God.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's a hack. It's hard hack because it's a pricey investment now. But God, 5 years ago when we first started working together, people were buying fourplexes for like $380,000, and they were. I can't even tell you. But it's hard to say good cap rate. But what I will say is, if you're looking at fourplexes and trying to hack the system that way, be prepared to know that it's going to be a very limited inventory, because the people who own them now are investors and hardcore investors, and they are maximizing every unit in that fourplex. And why would they let go of that if it's making money, especially with rent being as high as it is? So fourplexes are not a big market that we're pushing right now because there's just not a lot to play with, honestly. So sorry to give you no answer, but that's some answer. Sorry. Okay. Let's see. Power and water situation. That's another thing stopping me from my Ohana to move. Oh, family. Oh, so Sai says, I may have asked before, but power and water, what's the deal with power and water? That's another thing that's stopping me and my family from moving. Do you like that I was able to Ohana means family? That's just a Lilo and Stitch thing. That's just a Disney reference that I definitely.
Lacey's watching her Disney right now.
And I'm with Xpand Realty, which is an amazing Hawaiian family that I am very much not Hawaiian. I'm not tan enough. I can be, but I'm not. And they've taught me quite a bit. Thank goodness for Randy and his team over there. Power and water. There's been a lot of bad information about water, right? And I'm not an expert, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you the status, but what I am going to tell you is we're fine. And if I'm not worried, you shouldn't be worried. But I would highly recommend that you check out the Southern Nevada Water Authority, SNWA, and go online and read the articles they've written, read the blog posts, and understand not only what they've done to lead up to this point, because this isn't a surprise to anybody that there's possibly a water shortage and things are lower. This is no surprise, but a lot of people are assuming that we're just caught off guard by this. Like we weren't planning for this. Like we do have city planners that have helped us build out our
But not
city.
only that, it's not only our city, because there's 13 million people that live off the Colorado River. Lake Mead is filled by the Colorado River. So,
and we have first right of refusal for the water rights there. But with all that being said,
I just think there's a lot of drama.
There's a lot of drama, and nobody needs that. Your mama doesn't need that, right? So check out online, look at the Southern Nevada Water Authority. That's going to be the best place to go for information. City of Las Vegas has some great links as well. Find if you're watching us, you're already doing it right. You're finding the true people that are giving the truth. So go find the truth about that. But again, if I'm not worried, you shouldn't be worried. Do we see water restrictions coming up a little bit? Sure, but we've seen that for 10 years. Have we seen them stop the building?
It's been like 20 years.
It's been like 20 years. Don't water more than 2 or 3 days a week, blah, 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 right?
And when they were taking the grass out of everything,
But are we seeing them say, no, homeowner, you can't build a pool? No, we're not.
Or
We're not
even
seeing that.
if they're not pulling permits, because if you don't have enough water, you're not going to allow more houses to be built, right? They're still allowing all the permits to happen.
So no stress on that. If we're not worried, you shouldn't be worried. But go look and go find the real information. If I could share stats, I would, but I can get in trouble from my license perspective because I'm not an expert. So I have to be really careful with what information I share. But great question. And as far as power goes, I haven't heard of any power issues whatsoever.
I haven't either.
All I can tell you is if you buy a newer home, you're going to have a lower power bill. If you buy an older home, get the equal payment plan and you'll be just fine. Okay. Vacations cost thousands of dollars. It's cheaper to move to Vegas, Modern YouTube says. All right, I love that.
Yes, Modern YouTube.
Anthony, how much? Oh, wait, that's somebody else. They're asking somebody else. I've seen a listing for $275 on the west side, says Oscar. Yeah, west side. Like we were giving median home prices at $450 and $460 earlier in this live stream.
So they go much lower and much higher than that.
That's median, right? So and if you're looking at condos, which
and that's
is a
everything
great
that
investment,
has sold too.
Yes, and that goes off of sold, not off of listed. Right. So again, guys, if you work with us directly, we'll be able to really help you. How long to close on a condo if I'm paying cash? One Gementino says. So closing for cash, you can't answer this because you don't deal with cash. Closing with cash can be anywhere from 7 to 15 days or 30. It really is up to you as to how quickly you want to close. We want to make sure we give enough time for you to get inspections done and make sure you have time to do the walkthrough and repairs and anything else that needs to be done. So, you can close very quickly if you want to, or, take as much time as you need, but cash is king and you control the timeline when you are a cash buyer for sure. You control the timeline, you and the title company, right? Mm-hmm. She's like, I don't know. I don't work with cash. I don't know.
I'm just going to agree with whatever you say.
I'm in 89108, says Sammy. My rent is $1,700. Qualifying is 2.7 times per my monthly rate. So to qualify to get into a rental, she has to almost pay 3 times.
Whoa, seriously?
To qualify even. She has to make
almost 3 times. So that's how they're doing it. They're looking at your income and then, but they're also looking at your credit too. So I've talked to so many people and they're like, it's so hard to rent right now.
It's
and I'm like, wow, those qualifications are worse than buying a house.
That's honestly, at the end of the day, that to me too is qualifying. Like even if it costs you a little bit more per month, being able to qualify for one versus the other is maybe the final, purchase decision.
Cutie down here.
This guy wants to be in this video so bad. You already got your showtime, 15 minutes of fame, sir. For any vets, Ray W says, from my experience, don't go through Veterans United. I believe if I wasn't in a crunch to buy, I would have been better off talking to Amber and keeping Michelle as my agent. Michelle is one of our agents on the team. Thank you, Ray, for saying that.
Thank you.
Listen, we understand that when you go through certain programs as a vet or as a teacher or as a relocation process, that there are the preferred agents, the preferred lenders. We understand that that's a thing, but you as buyers have the power and really should be leaning into comparing apples to apples across all opportunities before you make a decision. A lot of times when you're relocating and they're paying for your relocation, a lot of people think, well, I can't choose because I'm relocating. But the bottom line is you can.
Yeah, you
and
have
you
the
should.
option.
You have
at
the
least
option.
Call and shop it so we can keep people honest.
Keep people honest.
If you don't have the option, let's keep them honest.
Because I know a couple of agents who have these exclusive deals with certain groups, right? Who all their business is sent to them, and it would be good for them to be kept honest from time to time, because, you lose track of having to earn that business and keep yourself sharp and on top of things.
Yeah.
So
make sure you're taken care of. But thank you so much, Ray.
Okay. Someone's asking me how many pieces of toast can I make at the same time? Because they're looking at this. 4. I can make 1, 2, 3, 4. I can make 4.
They're looking at your toaster.
For crying. I knew we were going to get some shit about doing this in the kitchen. Damn it. Oh, Tyson says, I love the house that I just bought last month. Thank you to Amber and Brent. Brent's on our team as well. Thank you, Amber. I know you worked
an amazing
your little toughest
so
off for Tyson. Tyson, we love you. We're so grateful for you and your family, and
so happy for you.
We talk about you all the time.
You gotta send us pictures.
Let's see. Edward's going. Okay, I don't know what's going on over here. I'm looking through all you guys are crazy. You guys have these crazy conversations. Let's see. Trevor says, my wife and I would be outdoor people, so I'd like to buy a house with a pool in the backyard so my wife and I can skinny dip together day and night after coming home from doing errands on that hot day. Listen, I love a good skinny dip. I'm about the skinny dip. I don't have a pool right now. I have a pool on the roof, but that's definitely not private. But if I had my own private pool, I would be in that thing naked all freaking day, all day. C Pimpin 100. First of all, great effing name. Says, what do you guys think about the Sky Canyon area? Is it up and coming, and is it going
I
to
think
prosper?
that's what you were trying to say instead of Indian Springs. You were saying Sky Canyon.
No, I was talking Indian
were you
Springs.
talking
Not
Indian Springs?
Yeah.
Sky Canyon's amazing too, though.
Sky Canyon is.
You almost feel like
amazing.
you're not in Las Vegas, but then you're only 20 minutes away.
Sky Canyon is one of my favorite new communities, and I don't even want to say new because it's been around for like 4 or 5 years. It's been around,
but it feels. I mean, that feels new.
It's gorgeous. They have the best, and I'm gonna hands down say it right now. I'm gonna declare the best community center in all of Las Vegas.
Really,
it looks like an REI. You walk into this thing, it looks like you're in a cabin, floor to ceiling, windows. You can have canoes on the wall. You're like, what?
We got to do one of your events out there.
I know, right? It's the beautiful community pool. I love Sky Canyon. They have a lot of really beautiful community amenities and events that are available to anybody that lives in the community for a very low HOA, very low, like less than $50, I think, a month. I mean, most of us spend more than that on coffee each month,
and
right?
For a community area
pool,
like that, to have
not just
$50
pool,
a month,
not just park, not just this REI experience where you can rent. It's crazy, but also just maintenance of the landscaping, gorgeous events each year, like a gym. I think they have a gym. I think they have it's nuts. So Sky Canyon is high fives from me all day. And if you want to buy in Sky Canyon, it's gorgeous. Up until about 2.5 years ago, you could get a better deal in Sky Canyon, get the exact same house in Sky Canyon versus Inspirada, which is directly across town, for almost $100,000 less.
Really? It was
almost
that much less?
It was 80 to 100,000.
Still less right now?
Things have evened out. I think Inspirada is still higher, but it's nowhere near the discrepancy that it once was. So, we're super stoked to be able to show people Sky Canyon, and honestly, not just Sky Canyon, but across the freeway, the Northwest Centennial Hills, kind of North Las Vegas, and Tule Springs, this whole new area that's building out. You guys, this city is like a big old glass of milk that got spilled, and it just spreads in the most beautiful way. And everywhere that it spreads gets closer and closer to the gorgeous nature. But the way our city planners have built it out is it's connected to the freeways that gets you back into the middle of town, back into the heart of all the action in 15 minutes, right? Yeah. So I don't know. That's my favorite thing about Vegas.
Hey, I also heard, not to change gears or anything, but didn't we get like a baseball team just recently? Is that?
Oh my God! Did I miss that notice? I don't know. What do you? Are you breaking news?
I thought you were okay. So
I'm supposed to be Las Vegas. How do I not know this?
No, okay, maybe I need to look it up. Somebody maybe can answer it for me.
But for like 9
I
years.
thought that it was just. I thought I heard. Well, I just heard. Maybe it was rumor.
But the
A's.
Well, that's been a rumor for like 10 years.
No, the Oakland A's. No, but I think they're coming to Vegas officially now.
If you're watching this, please
if you guys know that for sure.
Listen. I was in Spain for a week with my son, so I've been kind of off the grid for a couple days.
And I hadn't looked it up, but I just heard rumor. I was like, oh, that's cool.
I feel like an idiot. While we're talking, I'm going to look it up. Oh my God.
But that's the beauty of Las Vegas, though, is that we have all of this. And it used to be just gaming, but there's so much more that's coming into the city that's bringing jobs and it's bringing a lot of things.
I've been talking about since I was 9 years old. Welcome to the party. Been here for a few years. Okay, I'm going to look that up. Hey, Brian, good to see you. He's still here. Brian, again, you're lovely, beautiful agent. If you guys don't want to work with us, Brian's an amazing agent. You can check him in the comments. We would still love for you to work with us. And Brian, why aren't you working with Amber is what I really want to know. Because you don't have the Wizard of Loans on your team. You're not doing it right. Let's see. I'll say happy early birthday, says Alan. Thank you, Alan. Don't ask me how old I'm going to be. I'm aging in reverse, but I do appreciate it. Sunday is my birthday.
Aging in reverse.
I love it
every day.
All right. I'm trying. Are there dead zones with no cell service in the Vegas Valley? Yeah, unfortunately.
Under every bridge,
we both go. Yeah.
When you drive down I-15, you got to call people back a couple times.
That's you, girl. This girl, she and I both live in our cars, so we're just, there definitely are some dead zones. In fact, I did this, I don't want to say it's a famous, but it's in my mind like this infamous live stream where I was trying to prove to people that traffic in Vegas wasn't that bad. It was like 3 or 4 years ago. So I went live in my car while I was driving, and I was like, I'm probably going to lose you at some point because I'm going from one side of town to the other, going under bridges and this and that. And I think I finally lost everybody by the time I got almost to Lake Las Vegas. But I was trying to prove that I could get from one side of town to the next in like 20 minutes. And I proved it like I thought I would. So I don't even know what time I was driving it. But anyway.
Summerlin, honestly, has a lot. Summerlin is bad.
It depends on your provider, don't you think?
Well, I have T-Mobile and I haven't had any problems.
I think I'm T-Mobile too. I think I'm T-Mobile, but I used to be with AT&T for a long time. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was horrible. Bad.
All right. Can we see that view before we go? What view? My view? Maybe I'll walk you out. Okay, if you stay till the end, which is going to be within the next 5 minutes, I will show you my gorgeous view of the Las Vegas Strip from my balcony, and you guys can all be jealous because I'm super excited.
And it's a nice clear day out there too.
All right, so Angie says, can you discuss any grants or incentives about solar panels, resale, and new build? Thank you, ladies, you rock. Thank you, Angie, we love you. Thank you for tuning in.
Great question. Well, as far I can tell you about the loans for solar loans.
Let's talk about that, and then I'll talk about what we're seeing happen when they already have them on the house.
Okay, yeah. So as far as a loan for a solar loan, if you're buying new construction, you can actually take the cost of the solar. So have the solar company give you a bid on how much it's going to cost, wrap that into the loan. So you're financing both your house and the solar together. That way you don't have, because something that's annoying about the solar loans is the separate leases that they have on them and stuff like that. It's a nightmare when you have that second lien on there for solar. But this way, if it's new construction, you can wrap it all into one.
Yeah. And then for homes, so a lot of people don't realize that when you're buying a home that has solar panels that are paid off, let's say the seller paid $25,000 for those solar panels to be put on and they paid it off. That actually adds $25,000 in value to your home, like dollar for dollar for the first.
If they're paid off.
If they're paid off. The first resale after those were added to the home, that's a full value. Now, if you go to sell the house in a year or two or whatever that looks like, you're not going to get the full value for $25,000 extra. That's already built into the price that you already purchased the home for, but they do bring a lot of value to your home. If there's a lease involved, which a lot of people signed up for, which is awesome because listen, somebody asked earlier about power. I wish more people, solar was kind of kept out of our city for a lot of years because Nevada, just like Uber was kept out and just, anything that's new and innovative that's going to break up the system.
Want to make money, right?
The power companies, the hotel companies, the taxi companies have kept a lot of innovation out of our city for a long time. One of the biggest things was solar. Solar tried to come into town.
Which Vegas is a great place because there's a
7
lot
years
of sunny
ago.
days.
Oh my God, this 300 days of sunshine a year. This makes the most sense, right? But Nevada Power, which has a lot of politics and other things involved, said, no, we don't want them. So long story short, it took about 3 years. They're now back. It's okay to have solar, but for a long time, it wasn't something that was really supported. So the houses that have added it since have bought into these really awesome incentive programs where they're paying a $9 a month connection fee. And then their power bill goes from $800 a month in the middle of the summer or $600 or $200 or whatever it is down to like $69, right? Or nothing, right? So it's been really interesting to see that shift. So when you're buying a home where it's paid off, amazing. When you're buying a home with the lease, just understand that you have to be able to qualify for your home loan and for the lease of that.
And they have different guidelines.
And they have very different guidelines. I've never had a client be turned down, and I've done probably maybe 20 clients that have bought homes with solar that they've had to qualify for. There's been a few that have been a close call that we've had to work with.
I've had a few that were turned down by the solar company.
Yeah. And then when that happens, you're done because you can't buy that house because that house is tied to that solar, right?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. It does definitely add value, but I would not, the grants and stuff that are on her side are what I would definitely look toward. If you're going to look at a house with solar, just make sure that you can qualify for it before we put the offer in, that we're going to be able to make that happen. And that's on our side to help you understand what the payment is each month, blah, 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 all that stuff. So I hope that was a long-winded answer. I'm sorry for that. But okay, let's see here. Ray says solar contact. I don't even know what he's saying. Love you, Ray, but that's a long message. Trevor asked, do I have any big plans for my birthday? So my birthday is Sunday. I am going to the Raiders-Chargers game on Sunday. I have season tickets, so I'm going to be, I think it's the Chargers. Is it the Chargers? I'm not a big football person. I just bought the tickets as an investment. I think it's,
this is the beauty about the Raiders. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that most people are just going for entertainment.
That's me. That's it.
Like if you walk to an NFL game in any other city, you got crazy fans all over the street.
These people that are like chop your head off if you say the wrong thing.
And if you're wearing the wrong color too, right? In Vegas, you're just walking.
Yeah.
Just to go to be entertained. So you don't, you probably,
I just go for entertainment, baby.
Of course, that you don't know who it is. No,
I think it's the Chargers.
I think they just.
I'm pretty sure it's the Chargers.
They
Anyway,
just play the Chargers,
I'm just going to a Raiders game on Sunday. So my birthday is December 4th. Thank you for the sweet birthday wishes. I really appreciate that. And then my friends, I'm not very good with surprises, but my friends are surprising me with something on Saturday night. And I'm really having a hard time with not knowing what's going on. Let's just put it that way. And with that being said, let's wrap it up. Let's walk out to the beautiful view.
Good.
Okay, so if you stayed till now, I told you it would be 5 minutes, and I was right. We're going to walk you to see this gorgeous view of the Las Vegas Strip from downtown. I'm going to trip and fall. I know it. From downtown Las Vegas. All right. You ready, guys? So happy birthday to me and happy Las Vegas view to you.
It's a beautiful night out here.
It's a gorgeous night. It's definitely chilly.
But it feels good. There's no wind. It's probably about like what,
Yeah.
65 degrees.
Look at that gorgeous view.
Yeah,
So
that's
this
the view.
is, I'm trying to keep it straight. This is my gorgeous view from my balcony. I'm very fortunate that I was given the opportunity to move downtown a couple years ago. And I'll tell you what, this view brings me to life. It looks so far away though. Here's what sucks. Doesn't it look far away? It looks so much closer in person. Like
Yeah,
I
it
feel
looks
like I
like
could
you're
literally touch it in person. Don't you?
Yeah, it does look further away.
That's the camera tricks. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
More
that's
focusing on
my gift to you for my birthday weekend. Thank you all so much for joining us. We are super grateful to have your love, your attention, your likes, your everything. You're seeing my messy house behind me. It's okay. And we're just super excited about what the reality of the situation is when it comes to our beautiful real estate market that we're dealing with. You know, now is the time to buy. Now between now and I'd say spring. So if you've ever even considered it, please let us at least guide you and see if maybe now is the time for you. Right?
Let's get you that granola.
Listen, we got the good homemade
Myrtle.
Aunt Myrtle's granola, right? we don't know what we're doing. We're just Aunt Myrtle. I'm going to make 4 pieces of toast that I can't eat. So grateful that you joined us. Thank you again. We will be live again, I think next week, right?
Yes.
You know what day, but we
Let's
will
do
be
it.
promoting it. If you haven't subscribed to her channel, please do so.
Yes.
Please make sure you're subscribed here to mine. Thank you for tuning in, and we love you.
Thank you guys.
And I'm going to
Love
be a
you.
year older when I see
Woohoo!
you.
But you look younger.
You know, I'm aging in reverse. I'll see you later, guys.